Afternoon everyone, Ian from DIY Home and Gardening. I'm in the garage this afternoon, which can only mean one thing, and that is project time. So if I turn the camera around and we can have a look as to what I'm thinking of trying to build. So 5th of December, and well, basically my thought is to try and create another sort of Christmas inspired design which will accommodate those cool white lights, and this is what I've come up with, in the crudest of drawings of course, but I can kind of envisage what it's meant to look like, or what I want it to look like. So what I'm essentially thinking is to try and create this sort of pyramidical shape. It's going to stand about 2 meters in height and total base width of about 1 meter. And yeah, consisting of 6 lines or 6 wire lines, pretty much equal distance around it. And it sort of led me to base construction, I guess. So my initial thought was obviously easiest way, timber through the base, cut the sides, and then bridge those pieces by some joints, which would have been it, pretty easy, but it looked very well square-like, Egyptian pyramids, slightly offset. And then I got to thinking about almost creating these T sections, if you like, with then infills, which would give a nice, certainly a nicer hexagonal look to the base, and would also allow for better spacing of the wires up to that central position. Obviously it's a lot more fiddly, trying to work out the angles on those, so yeah, have to see kind of how that pans out, but I'm thinking that this is the design I'm going to go with. And then really just then started trying to work out how long my pieces of timber have got to be, and I'm using this 2x2, which actually planed down as it is. So it's a treated 2x2, which as it's planed comes out at 45 millimeters. Is it 40? Yeah, 45 millimeters in width. So you sort of got to work that into your equations. But yeah, I think my first things first is sort of to cut the upright and get some sort of momentum going, and also to cut this piece. So this is going to be a solid piece across the base, and allowing for the 2 pieces on the end, which say they're 45 mil a piece, so that's 9 centimeters in total, which would then mean that this length is 91 centimeters across, doing that way, and the top piece would be 1.95 m, which would then give me a total height from floor to top, the 2 meter. So that is my first step: cut that piece, and then these T pieces, there will be 50 centimeters in width, which is half the total width of the unit, and then that'll give it a sort of nice balanced uniform base to work with. So essentially that's what I'm going to do. Going to go and set up the chop saw, cut these bits, see how it looks. Right, so I've cut the first few pieces, middle, self-explanatory, 4 ends essentially. Let me grab the upright, which would then fit in the middle here. So I'm kind of happy with how the base will look. Just need to cut the 2 pieces from here and to here. So essentially that's going to be with 50 centimeters for 1/2, less the width of that, and less half the width of that. So that comes out at 43.3 centimeters. So I need 2 of those, and then yeah, once I've cut those 2, then I'll start screwing these bits together, get it nice and square and tight, and then can then have a measure as to what these infill sections are to be, with the relevant angles, which well, the angles should be at 45 degrees, because then that would give you 45, 90, 135, 180 for your complete arcing, but can never quite tell. Should be right. So all cut, marked out my centres on all the panels or pieces. So now it's just a case of use drill, pilot holes, and then put in some suitable size screws. So for this, I'm going to go with some 80mm screws. Yeah, don't think I'll go any longer. So 80mm will sort of go into through there and to about where my finger is, so that'd be nice and secure. Do 2 screws per fitting. So I just thought I'd show you how it's getting on. Done the easy bit. So the first complete structure, or complete cross piece, connected that onto the little side arms, because that's nice and straightforward. Then this one drilled and connected from that away. So always do the easy bits first. Makes things smoother. Let's just rest that there, and then this one will then sit on top. So you can see pilot hole done, and then just need to get the 80mm screw into that. So that will then fix down. Let me grab the screwdriver. So just get it down through that piece of timber. Let me show you. So it's just sitting out. Then you can line it up to your hole. It's easier when you're obviously looking. So then, yeah, line it up with the hole, and in that goes. And then you can drive it home. So obviously square your arm up again, and then we'll drill through again to put the second fixing in. So we'll get this easy bit done, and then connect those 2 together, and then find a way to connect that leg onto there. There, that's all done. These are joined. Now to fix this, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to connect it through on the angle, well, on the angle, like so. So one go through that way, one come through that way, and that hold it nice and square, or square enough, until we'll get around to obviously doing these side bits, and then it'll be nice and steadfast. Okay, all joined together. You can see driven a screw in that way on the diagonal on the top, and same there. And so it then comes to these points. All being well, they should be the same size. So we've got 29 centimeters is internal. Same. Do you know what? It might actually be square, you know. Oh, yeah. And near enough, bang on. So yeah, so now to cut these infills, as I say, so I need a 29 centimeter internal measurement, and whatever the external works out, but I think it will be a little bit of trial and error. So I need to do 29 to mark out my internal ones, and then working on the external 45-degree angle. And well, I cut one, see how it looks. So that's the first infill piece done. Originally, as I say, I'd measured these internal points based off here, and then quickly realised that actually it's probably going to be, well, I wouldn't know where these external measurements were because I was obviously trying to measure off essentially a blunt end. So I oversized it, and then, which was good, then drew some lines on it. And had kind of forgotten about the fact that because I'm using 2x2 timber, when you cut it on the angle, you sort of end up with an inset. It's hard to explain, but you need to have sort of a 1 3/4 inch to make it look the same. It's just how it is. So anyway, so what ended up is this point to this point, 35.5 centimeters on a 45-degree angle, which can now be then screwed this way. So you're screwing straight into here as opposed to screwing on an angle into here. Just makes it nice and tight. So yeah, now I know the measurements, I can go and cut the other 3. Now, first one in place, got the other 3 to do. For the time being, just doing 1 screw on each piece, and then I'll get it all connected, then do a second screw in each joint. Base all done, all screwed together. Now to fix this in place, so I can do that as an upright, and I think I'm just going to do a couple of braces then to come off there, down, same on the other side, just to shore it up a little bit, stop this pole going wayward. Okay, so the upright is secured from the base, and then I've used up the last of the timber to cut myself 4 brackets or braces in pairs essentially, so they're 2 different lengths, which means that when you come to fix them together, you have 1 pair at that height, 1 pair slightly below, which are offset for when you go to screw through. Means that you're not going to be trying to screw into the oncoming screws. And at this stage, use a set square, because well, you can see with me just having it set like that it's got a bit of a lean on, and if you fix this one in place, assuming that this is in an upright position, then it's going to throw out this side and vice versa. So before you get started, or what I suggest, put your set square on, and then you can lever your upright support to the correct angle. Once at the correct angle, it's up to you as to whether you want to screw down first or into the post first. It's probably easier to screw down, and in that way this bit's not going to slide, and in that way you can screw through knowing that the upright is upright. So that's the first section done. I just thought I'd show you again, you know, you're leveling uprightness on that way, and then you need to do exactly the same on this plane, just to make sure that it's going to be nice and straight. Otherwise you're going to end up with something that looks say bowed from the other direction. There we are, base all nicely secured. It's got a slight bend on, but not too bad. Straighten up with the fixings to the wire. So now to set your, well, securing things with. For this I'm going to be using Vinize, so they'll be going in, and just, I guess, work out what your spacing's sort of going to be. So I haven't done it properly as yet, but I'm kind of working along that kind of configuration, which will give me, I don't know, an even-ish spacing, but I say I'll be able to play around with it a little bit just to try and get my spacings somewhat equal. And once I've got my spacings that I'm happy with, then you can drill through and secure them downwards, as that's going to be where you're fixing one section of wire to. And then equally, well, the first bit I'm going to do, I'll do a straight up and over. So I'm going to fix the vinyl in the top there to accommodate the wire to go straight over and down. As well, that's how I'm choosing to do it. Just thought I'd show you. So secured in that vinyl, and then I've measured, so it actually works out 50.5 centimeters, almost as the crow flies, you know, from vinyl to vinyl. So that gives me my nice equal spacing for fixings. On the final wire now, got to admit, probably use easier 2 people on this, but yeah, just the way it is. So it's one of those where you got to kind of untangle the wire as you go along, get out a length, and go through the vine at the top. So sharing the vine for all 3 cables, and then loosen off a bit, pull a bit, and repeat. So yeah, get your wire down as much over as you think you're going to need, and give it a good old twist. And then try and stretch that wire out up and over the top, and then secure down there. Upright wires are all done, all secured. Probably find that as well, if it warms up, or as they I suppose stay in place, then slacken up a bit, at which point you can just tighten them a bit more. And with the leftover wire, I'm just going to run a ring around the perimeter, secure up, which just allows me to fix other things to it if I need to. Now for the proper pain in the arse bit of the job. Done all the, well, probably easier bit, fiddly bit now, do the lights. Little tip though, before starting on any lighting for Christmas, because they're always fiddly, check they actually work first. There we are. Excellent. Let's get to it. So we're about halfway through putting the lights up. It's definitely a 2-person job, because otherwise I found that it just got tangled up. So yeah, we're doing up and over twice essentially, because it's a 25-meter length of lights. So all the lights done. Could have done with having about another 1.5 meters of lights just to do this bit and this last piece up here, because all the others, or the other sections, have all got double runs of it. Base is covered, so pretty much, but you know, that bit there, well, that's going to be the back anyway, so I guess just need to turn it on. There we are, all lit up. Let's get these off. Now that definitely looks Christmassy. Pretty pleased with that. So there you have it, project done. Making my little well, light pyramid, Christmas tree, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, just something different that you can't get off the shelf, and yeah, hopefully we'll brighten up outside the house and give the neighbours something to enjoy, aspire to, whatever. But anyway, video done. If you have any questions on this project, how I did it, or indeed other projects, then please send messages to me. I'll always do my best to answer them for you. If you like what I'm doing, then please subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit that reminder button so you don't miss out on the future videos that I'm doing, whether that's sort of this creative stuff, DIY, or gardening. And always say it, but it is so true, enjoy what you're doing, have fun, and get a bit of creativity going if you can. Till next time, bye for now.